All right. We are back. Lucasgvariety and friends are back to play Robotech, the MACROSS SAGA, Season 3, Episode number 2. We are back. It's been a couple weeks. Welcome, friends. Welcome. Welcome, audience, who I think are probably just bots at this point, but we'll get some more. No problem there. So we're back. We're having a good time. We'll get a recap going on, whatever Mike decides he wants to tell us. But you're out there. You want to be a part of the game. Want to affect the decisions. Look at the cheer bits. Yep, right about up there. And see what you'd like to donate. Everything goes back to the channel, and we appreciate all the help we can get. Don't follow Soundwavesghost where he's looking. It's the wrong direction. Always the wrong direction. So we're looking forward to some drama, some action, some drama, and some commercials. Maybe. But mostly drama. So I'll just pass it to the RM right now and shut up real quick. Mike?
I am the Robotech Master Harukajunko, and welcome back everyone for another episode of Robotech. Last time we managed to start the season off with a great little piece of Lisa Hayes finding out just how terrible the situation is on the boat, and managing to use Archibald's own weakness against him to use him as a scapegoat and get her out of the hospital. The captain also learned that Alex Matz has not been on the ship for some reason. There's been several informants for the United Earth government have noted that he seems to have been missing and noted to be, leaving. And then it turns out, in Alex Matz's end, he woke up in a nice comfy bed as a traitor he is, selling out his best friends for money, cash, and women. And unfortunately, he didn't get any of that. Instead, he got Lynn Kyle. For anyone who knows Robotech, it's kind of worse. I'd never wish that on anyone. But turns out he was actually an AUL sleeper agent who was now being briefed that we're going back to the boat to more or less keep an eye on things and possibly steal more information. Because he has a plan, and that plan is to more or less jump in and try to Superman the day when everyone else in the Justice League has failed. And then we had Nate over here who's playing John Kerensky, who was getting some new crewmates into the game. Specifically, one new squad member who was, as I fail again, Cadet. Yes, Uso Ewan, who was just fresh out of the academy with exactly one time previously in his Destroid, and we'll have to see how that all goes. See how well they survive the war. But with that, we're going to go back up to the bridge with Lisa Hayes, who is directing 5 different things at once, because during this whole time, the United Earth government's been flying in plane after plane, these massive cargo planes called tunnies, which can, for scale of this thing, it can fit several, full-size destroids laying down inside of it. It is an absolute monster of a plane, and these things are flying in and VTOLing onto the deck, because in Robotech, everything's a VTOL. It's all VTOLs.
The only way to travel.
Always has been.
I don't know what that is. Can you explain to me? And I mean the audience, of course.
Yeah. So what that basically means is that instead of going down the runway and taking off like a normal plane, or going onto the runway like a normal plane, it instead just takes off straight up and then goes forward.
Oh, that's of course the only way to do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Especially on a carrier deck that is now the arm of a giant battle fortress. Not as much runway to land on. Though at least this one isn't submersible, or isn't submerged currently. But, we're going to the bridge, and Lisa Hayes is directing the rearming efforts, the refueling efforts, directing new personnel. She is going 12 different ways from Sunday. Well, Alex Matz, you are in the communications bin, still signing papers that one Archibald Silverworth left you with. As Archibald Silverworth, I imagine you are sitting in the captain's chair doing nothing.
But of course, no, I'm scanning the skies repeatedly, making quips at Lisa Hayes under my breath, or under, just little bits to her as she goes by. I am there to assist her if she wants, but she probably no want. So
No. You've outlived your usefulness, unfortunately, so she'll probably throw you out the airlock next.
hey, you know what? I'm trying to create a drama with her here. I mean, so.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry. She's created a drama and used it to get herself out of the hospital.
I'm gonna work it. This, like I said, this is the season of love for Archie. That's all I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Unlike every other season.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so sad.
But
And I think I have the captain's hat on, the spare hat, and it's kind of slumped down over it like this with the feet up on the dash in front of him. He's just so bored because he doesn't get anything to do. So
yeah, I mean, you get nothing to do because you don't volunteer for much. Well, rather I should say, what you volunteer for, they don't want your help with.
Okay, see, exactly. It's just a vicious circle of stay out of the way. Yeah. That's what I'm doing, I guess, until someone makes me do something.
No. That's basically how it is today. It's been a day since Alex Match you've returned, and
I've spent every waking hour signing papers.
Mm-hmm. They've even given you coffee and like probably some form of stimulants to keep you awake.
I've been up the entire time.
I mean, if you want to say that you've been up the entire time, we can totally say that.
I imagine he's had like 6 hours of sleep.
All right. You know what? Then in that case, take a fatigue for me.
All right.
You are tired because instead of doing the sensible thing of just doing the work and looking for you in his spare time, or having someone else in the entire ship look for you, Archibald left you like several hundred stacks of papers and like 3 different like full tablets of things that need to be signed.
Okay, let me mark down a stress as fatigue.
Mm-hmm. And that'll clean up when you actually get sleep.
Yeah. I mean, he's gotten some, just not enough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you guys, I'd say it's a little past noon. It's been a whole day. You haven't heard anything, Alex, from, your totally legit friend over there, Lynn Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
And
upstanding dude, totally.
Yep, upstanding dude, totally not a terrorist. And Archibald, it's been a whole day and nothing's happened.
I know. I keep flirting with her and flirting with. Oh, you mean the skies? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the transport planes coming in, but it's not like one of those cool moments of, sir, there's an unknown contact coming in. We need someone to scramble, and you're like, I got it. Like this. I imagine that you've had a daydream of that or two, and like gotten up to get out of the chair, and then like, what are you doing? Why are you leaving?
Yeah, it's been partially dreaming. He has all these one-liners ready, like all these cool like action movie lines to respond with. That's up close like this, and nope.
Mm-hmm. But it's just been a rather boring day. But you guys are on the bridge, and it's getting a little bit, like I said, it's getting past noon, so you guys will be able to go get lunch or something soon. So what are you guys doing?
How much paperwork do I still have left?
I'd say by this point, since he didn't do paperwork for like a day and a half, you're halfway through it.
All right.
Mostly like several hundred requisition forms, notices of logistics, troop deployment orders. Really, you've turned from communications officer to overglorified secretary.
All right. Is there like a sandwich place?
Yeah, there's a couple of sandwich places. There's the Bronx Deli, which is not run by anyone from the Bronx. It's actually Egyptian run. There's also another one, which it's actually like a sweets kind of like one of those sweet sandwiches.
What?
It's like a dessert type of place that does sandwiches with like desserts. So you get like a piece of cake and then something in the middle and then another piece of cake.
That's dangerous.
Indeed.
I'm going to the Bronx Deli.
All right.
I need something I can eat while I work.
All right. So you get up and you head down there, and the Bronx Deli, like I said, it's Egyptian run, though it's stylized and everything there is Bronx. And the guy in the back is attempting to do a very bad Brooklyn accent.
Oh, do this. Do it.
Hey, what? What do you want?
Yeah, can I get a pastrami sandwich?
Pastrami sandwich, I can get you that. That'll be $7.85.
All right, I pay him,
Right.
and I take my sandwich.
Yep, no, he makes the sandwich, and it's... When you take a bite into it, it's... You didn't think it would actually taste this good, especially from someone who says that he runs a Brooklyn restaurant, but obviously does not look or sound like someone from Brooklyn. It's weird. It's almost as weird as that sushi place that's run by the South African family.
All right, I've got my sandwich. I'm going to maybe stop by a coffee shop, pick up more coffee, and then go back to my office.
All right, yeah, and you're able to pick up some coffee. It's much better than the pre-prepared ration. Well, it's slightly better than the pre-prepared rations because they're pre-prepared rations with a little extra flair.
It's better than coffee instant type 2.
Yep. You see, the military, you guys get the type 1 coffee, which is just normal coffee. These people get coffee, but they throw random things in it to make it taste better. But Archibald, what are you doing about lunchtime?
You know, I'm trying to be creative here because he should do something. He should get so bored that he might actually decide to risk working. I know. And so... Oh, you know what? Maybe I can work this in because I've actually been trying to work something mechanically, you know? So maybe I've wandered over to Alex's communication booth where the stacks of requisitions are and things. And maybe you can tell me how I get this going. But he's thinking, you know, I just can't wait to get back to the skies when we have a reason. My poor Veritech, man, Angela, she was just destroyed last time. I gotta get me a new girl. I know they got one down there, but maybe they can beef it up for me a little bit. It's all like thought bubbles going in his head, right? And he looks up. Oh, go ahead.
You do know that there's been talks and mutterings that some of the engineers have been getting bored.
Mm.
And some may have been messing with equipment and caused an accidental deck fire in the Veritech hangars on deck 3, but they seem to be messing with things down there, mostly because they too are also bored out of their minds because they're used to rushing out repairs with like duct tape. The duct tape repairs have been finished for 3 or 4 days. There's nothing to do, and engineers, when they get bored, are dangerous.
Yes, they are. Now, I don't know if it'd be good to call down there as a commander. Maybe it's better to go in person. You know, nothing like a commanding presence to get some work done, right? So, Alex shortly leaves. I wander over to his stuff. I'm poking through. I'm like, I see paper on engineering, or I'm like, oh, those guys. Yeah. That's actually who I need to talk to. Deck 3? Okay, yeah. First Lieutenant Hayes.
Yes, Commander.
He's just like, oh, that never gets old. Oh, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to be heading down to Deck 3, talking to the engineers, making sure all of our flyers are are ready to go. So,
Understood, Commander. Just remember not to leave all the work for Alex Matz. He doesn't look like he's been able to get any sleep since he got back.
that's true. That's true. Well, that's what he gets for going AWOL. I think that's a fitting punishment. I might help him possibly when I get back. Maybe. Probably not. And he's just like into the elevator going down deck 3.
Does he like back into the elevator while he's talking?
Yes, it's like, yep, sure. That would probably be what I do. Yep, nope.
And the door closes between you, and on the other side, Hayes just sighs as she kind of like rubs your forehead.
She can't help but
Fitting
just.
punishment for going AWOL would be Brig not pushing someone to do paperwork. Either that or airlocking them, but we're on Earth again.
I think it depends on who you're talking to, but she just can't help that she has a little crush on him after all that last time. So, yep, you know it. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be going down to talk to the engineers about my next Veritech, and I have her name all set as well about a little upgrades. So that's what I want to do. I don't know if we're playing that out. Oh, go okay.
You get down to deck 3, and immediately upon opening the doors into this rather empty hangar bay, you hear, "Good news, everybody!" And there's an explosion over to the side, and he just goes, "Wait, no, that was not good news."
Ooh.
The sprinkler system starts going off.
Oh, I think I came to the right spot. It's kind of excellent. Got my captain's hat on though. The obviously shield the water because that's what it's for partially.
Yeah, totally.
Right, Captain? Right.
But you kind of look in, and there is just this gaggle of engineers you think.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this really old guy, and just who looks to be in charge of everything. But besides that, you see parts just randomly strewn about, random inventions or something sitting around.
Okay.
And, like you're looking at this stuff and you're going, is that supposed to be a gun or a coffee machine?
On a good day, it's both.
And over on the side, you see what looked to be a Veritech, like a spare Veritech head, with like 5 extra lasers lodged into it.
Okay.
And it's currently on fire and melting.
Oh. And are they like running around and everything?
They're kind of all just, at this point, they're just kind of watching, and you're just watching the fire get put out.
So he's like walking up behind the group if probably hasn't seen him yet, and he's just kind of like, Commander on deck.
And they all look over and go, "You're not the commander. Did you kill him and take his spot? I didn't know they let dueling back in the military."
Like, that's not. I was left in charge while the captain went to Alaska.
Oh, that's much less exciting.
So Commander on deck.
Yes. What would you like?
Waiting for the salute, which doesn't come probably.
No. This old man, he looks like he's somewhere in his like 70s.
Storm? Wait, where'd that name come from? Never mind. Yes, sir. Second Lieutenant Archibald Silverworth III. I am one of the fighters normally. Just came down to check on my Veritech. Angela was destroyed, but I do believe you have Model B for Brandy, ready to go. However, as also co-commander right now, I would like to have a couple things possibly added in that I was thinking about. You guys seem bored. You seem like to soup things up, and I'm anxious to get back in the skies. There's a couple things I'd like to test out if you'd be able to oblige me.
And he kind of thinks for a minute, and then he goes, "What's in it for me?"
Something to do?
I mean, and he kind of looks back over to the flaming Veritech head. "We've had plenty to do when we get bored."
Something to do that'll be useful when we fight the Zentradi in the skies next? As well as a pizza? Maybe
Make it 2 pizzas, with the stuffed crust, and then you're good.
I'll have it down 20 minutes or less, or it's free.
All right. In that case, we'll figure out some things to throw on your fair attack and let you know at a later point.
Okay.
And if you want to try out some of our experimental things, sometimes do let us know.
Ooh.
And at this point, something like that Veritech head with like 5 extra lasers strapped to it explodes.
I think I will definitely send my number 1, number 2 down here, Chuck Burning. I'm sure he would love to come down and test some of this stuff.
Very good, very good. Now get out of my workspace. I need to think.
Yes, sir. I'm like saluting him now. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? What am I doing? And yeah, I'll probably head back as I.
You see him wander over to a door labeled "thinking chair," like with a little piece of sticky note and a piece of paper on it. And as he gets in, this piece of paper falls away, and it's actually just the toilet.
Yep. We all do a lot of thinking there. At least, anyways, I think that's about it for me. I think that's what I wanted to accomplish. That probably take up quite a bit of the lunch hour, and he'd head back because Lisa will probably actually have me start signing paperwork, and he probably will. If she actually wants him to, though, he is in higher spirits. He would do that. He would probably start to help her in that regard if she would allow him.
Yeah, she says, "Sure, you can help me," and then hand some of Alex Matz's papers over to you. You want to help by any means, Captain? Poetic Commander.
Yes, ma'am. I said I would. And he actually, like, for the first time, looks her in the eyes and is serious. But he's trying to actually impress her on a professional level as well as other levels, Mm-hmm. He's like, he's actually trying to be, a man and not just a wannabe player. Yeah, I said it. All right. So, yeah, he's like, yes, ma'am. And he takes him without further complaint and sits back in the captain's chair and starts going through them.
No.
I'm actually doing real work.
Looks surprised that you're actually willing to do the work and not trying to weasel your way out and or take half of it and throw it back on Alex Matz's stack, or
nope. I'm
to do it.
I'm gonna actually do it. I'm gonna legit work.
All right, and I think we cut away from the shock of that scene to the captain, the actual captain, who is the hearing has been heard, and all of the things that have been going on with that, all of your details that you've given over, all of your battle reports, literally everything that they could possibly have talked about over the past 3 to 4 days, and you're finally being sent back to your boat.
Woohoo!
With the express orders not to let any civilians off your boat.
Yeah, I know.
Not budge on that.
I mean, they definitely don't want to budge on that, because I wouldn't want to test their resolve for me to not follow through with my own plans. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Let me say that officially. Mm-hmm. Indeed, no civilians will be let off my boat on purpose.
Nick, of course, the person telling you this kind of gives you the side eye because it totally sounds like you're going to do it anyway. But you said it, it's on paper, they can always like ruin your career later or call you like a traitor or something. I don't know.
Indeed.
But
he's staring at the guy, just like, indeed.
As well, you're free to go back to your base or your ship and prepare to leave once the final resupply operations have been done, and take up a lone holding position between the Earth and the Moon.
Roger that. Sounds lovely. We'll give you a good show of it, not teleport this time, so everyone can see the ship actually take off.
Indeed, we wouldn't want another case of the ship flying out to... And he kind of stops and thinks, like, wait, we could get rid of the ship that way and they wouldn't come after us.
We cannot do that. It doesn't actually exist anymore. When we teleported, not all of us went.
Oh, yes.
But we took an island, which was really fun to watch that just fizzle away in space.
Yes. Very well then. I will. Hopefully, we will have to not have another report like this, Captain, until the Zentradi have been defeated. And the
Well,
guy lets you go out to your plane, which you've got to cross over into like the where it is on the runway because someone dislikes you. I guess they want you to walk through the cold winter of
of course.
Alaska. And
Pencil pushers and
yeah.
people that sit behind desks like to pull pranks and
Mhm.
be pissy. I
Yeah.
understand.
The captain
He just holds his
specifically
hat.
said he wanted to walk to the plane.
And I hold my hat just to make sure it doesn't fly off.
And you get onto the plane, and everything seems to go fine as you take off. And yeah, no, everything
And it
goes fine.
explodes.
Yeah, it explodes and you die. Roll a new character. But no, yeah, now that you're in the plane, do you want to try and make a call back to the SDF-1 or anything?
Sure. Yeah, well, I'll go back to the bridge.
Alright. Do you want to use the secure pod to phone to? Because these things actually have like a little pod with a phone in it that you can use. That's sealed so no sound can get out, and in the off case that your plane explodes violently, it won't kill you.
That sounds so nice and neat. Out of character, yes, because he would just have to try it. Not because he really worried about anything. He just like, I never got to actually try it because I'm always on the bridge.
Yeah, no. So yeah, they direct you to one of the pods, and you take a seat in it, and yeah, it's nice and comfy. It's a little cramped, but it's basically an escape pod with a cell phone strapped into it.
You're like,
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit more room, and it's got like the vid phone display, and it's got speakerphone too on the inside, so you get Dolby surround sound.
I could get yelled at in 2 dimensions.
Yeah. But you go back to the bridge, and the captain's phone is ringing.
I'm looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's ringing. It's there's no caller ID on these phones, so it could be a scam call.
Ring.
First Lieutenant,
The
what is
captain's
this?
That's a phone.
I know. I don't. All right. Oh, Captain boys. All right.
This is your captain speaking.
Commander, Second Lieutenant Archibald Silverworth, third.
Just the voice I was hoping to hear. How are you, young man?
And now I obviously know this is you. Or do you sound so bad on this reception? I don't know. No, I probably.
Lullaby.
Like,
Yeah.
hail, Captain. Yes, hi. Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir. Everything is swimming. We're alive.
I know you're alive, and I'm returning now aboard the fine vessel that bore me from my floating death castle.
Oh,
I would like you to go ahead and start wiping the crumbs off of my chair and prepare my stock of wine, because I know Lisa most likely has already confiscated the last batch. Because
okay.
I've been sober for 3 days, and I'm about to kill 3 people when I get off this ship if I don't have wine within the next 24 hours.
Okay, crumbs, wine, and I'm totally not wearing your hat. Obviously, everything's
I'm wearing
good.
My hat. You're wearing a hat that belonged to the girls when they wanted to role play. You're a really weird guy.
Oh well.
Just deadpan.
Yeah. Wine, sock of wine. I'll find it. Wherever it is, I'll find it and I'll have it. I'll have it ready for you, sir. Sir, yes, sir.
And Matt, is he in his closet?
Is he? When I look over,
Yes.
I'm assuming.
The wild mats is contained in his closet.
Okay.
And here we see the wild musician in his native habitat, doing paperwork.
Naturally. And
yes,
has
sir.
Miss Hayes been cleared from the hospital? I'm surprised. I'd be surprised to hear that she stayed for as long as she's supposed to.
Yes, I commandeered her myself, sir.
She tricked you to let her out early, didn't she?
I believe that's what happened, sir. Yes.
Oh, that's why she'll get her own boat soon.
What?
All right, like I said, get the crumbs cleaned off my chair. Get my refreshments refreshed. There's a little compartment on the left side of the chair. You just reach down, hold your hand there for a few seconds, it'll pop open.
Yes, sir. Not a boat, huh? I mean, yes, sir. I have it.
And has the civilians prepared for their party?
Sir, yes, sir. The Russians have been working on it, and otherwise they've been being rounded up, sir.
Appreciate it. I'll see you in return. If you want, you can put me on with Lisa, but otherwise, get those crumbs out of my chair.
Yes, yes, sir. And he holds the phone out towards Lisa, like looking kind of dejected when he said the whole boat comment. Like, no.
She kind of looks back and goes, "If you just press the third button, it just comes to my display."
I knew that. I knew that.
There's 6 buttons and they're not in a row. You're like, from the third?
He hopefully clicks the right one and puts the receiver down and gets to work.
Ship-wide announcement.
No, not that one. That one just causes feedback delay. Just screeching noises.
That's the modem.
Oh my god. Yeah, fax noises.
Yeah. No, stop faxing the call. No, you click the right one, and yeah, no, you pop up on Lisa Hayes' things, and you can see Lisa Hayes there. She's in her outfit. There's a stand. There's one of those metal poles next to her with an IV bag in it, and she has an IV in it. She's working. And goes, "Yes, Captain."
I applaud your dedication to your work. Your father applauds your dedication to your work.
I thank
Why
you
why are you not sitting?
I mean, she kind of looks down. It's like, I do have that little roller bar thing that I'm sitting on, but
Yes. I would prefer if you were sitting so that way you can extend your operational time while injured. Because I need you up there.
I'll be fine, sir. And someone had to do it. Alex Matz and
Yes,
Archibald weren't.
I gave them a task to do nothing, and they have managed to do something.
They immediately started wanting to do things the moment you left, Captain.
That's understandable. That's why I left a pair of them, so one of them would do the most damage and the other would try to cover it up. Anyway, as I said, your father sends his love and his great respect for your work so far, and personally good news that you are in line for your own boat soon.
That will be definitely something to see. We will have to, though hopefully I won't need my new boat if we can finish this war soon enough.
You'll still need one. This one is going to be poured over by scientists and never move again once we're done with it, I'm sure. However, we need it running. The party favors for the civilians needs to be pushed through and make sure everyone's prepared for that. As soon as I arrive and we're buttoned down, we'll start procedures for transformation and take off to an Earth orbit where we'll meet the fate of whatever nonsense the tall ones wish to do with us.
Understood, sir.
And just sit down, lady.
She kind of just she kind of just goes. He kind of doesn't say anything, but yeah, no. She kind of like sits down a little bit further on the seat.
There you go.
Yes, Captain. And is there
I
anything
pulled
else?
48 hours, I know. But no, there's nothing else. I am, like I said to my co-commanders, I am returning and eager to relieve them of command.
It won't be soon enough, sir.
Hey, you got to give them experience or they'll never grow past their testosterone.
She kind of looks back towards Silverworth and then back towards you.
I wasn't that bad, but I was close.
Well, either way, sir, I have another tunny coming into land with the last bit of our resupply. I must go.
Roger that. SDF-1, I'll see you soon. Captain, out.
And she nods, and then, your, compartment opens up, which I'm going to put it into the Zoom chat so that way you guys can see it. Because I was actually hunting for that for a little bit. Just what this little pod looked like. It's literally just a chair with some
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it for him. He'll go back and sit in a normal seat and sit there and literally stare at the sky outside, tap, doing his fingers like that on the armrest because he has been far too sober for far too long, and it's really bothering him.
Far too sober for far too long with not the right company.
Well, the demons sleep when the wine flows.
Mm-hmm.
He's got many.
But with that, we're going to cut away to John. Mr. John, your newest recruit has been. You are on deck duty today, which more or less means you're standing on the outside of the ship, and which is currently laying there in the water, and you're looking pretty.
Just standing there pretty.
Yeah, nothing's been going on like this for the past couple of days, to the point where some of the other destroyed crews have even leaned their destroids back a little bit so that way they can open the cockpits and suntan.
Gotcha.
Because you're in the middle of the ocean, in the South Pacific. It's nice and warm, so why not take advantage of that and do your job of looking up at the sky and totally not glazing over.
Right. So how's my crew doing? Are they?
Yeah, they're.
Anyone taking advantage of that then?
A couple of them have, they've flipped the head back on their mech and pulled their cockpits up, but they're not suntanning themselves. They're just kind of enjoying the weather. Because with the destroids, you can actually just flip the head back up and slide.
Gotcha.
The cockpit's on basically a pole which slides up.
Okay.
And so they're just kind of sitting. They're just kind of sitting there and just kind of relaxing. Uso is kind of. He's also started to get into relaxing. He's shown that he's able to get his mech moving.
He's standing upright.
Yep, he's standing upright and hasn't fallen over yet.
Okay.
Occasionally he kind of shifts it around. What's out there? What's out there? Gotta pay attention.
He looks okay. Good. I'm gonna walk my destroid near his. I'll keep my distance. I'm assuming does he teeter every now and then like a toddler?
No, it seems like at least the training and all that such was enough to keep him upright. And when he's moving, he's a little bit slower than people, though he definitely doesn't teeter like some of the newer pilots have been doing.
Gotcha. So I'll walk my destroid over to his and bring him up on the comms.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, Cadet?
I'm doing good, sir. It's a little bit of a different feeling with all the weight behind it now.
Yeah, I would say so. Why don't you follow me around the deck a bit?
Yes, sir. And while he's following you around, he has the guns kind of like an upwards position, so that way they're not pointing at your back.
Good.
Doesn't want to get his first kill marked as his own flight as his own destroid leader.
All right. So how'd your first training go, Cadet? When you went out with Janko?
It went pretty well, sir. We mostly just walked around the deck, and I was able to show her that I could at least move it. That was something, at least. Be worst first date ever. You fell down on it, right?
Yeah, it would. That would be, yes, Janko. Cadet.
Yes.
So where are you from again?
Okay, I don't remember if I've actually stated it in character because
If you
my
did, I
memory.
don't remember.
Uh, I'll have to look back at the video, but we're gonna say uh, Southern America, I believe it was, because I'm totally prepared, guys. And don't forget things. Don't worry.
Let's make it up as you go.
Yeah, this is. Uh, I was in New Texas, sir.
New Texas.
It's the same as Old Texas, but they put new on it.
Oh, not much has changed then, huh?
Yeah, no. Ever since the global war, a lot of places have been putting new or improved, like the new improved China block.
I see.
But it's basically the same from before the global war. I mean, global war never really got to most of America's shores, but now that we're all one giant government, it's kind of the same but different.
Sure. The more things change, right?
Why they say the same?
All right. I'm gonna kind of start walking in patterns and see if you can keep up as we're talking.
All right. I'll have him roll some stuff for himself to see how well he's doing with keeping up with your advanced patterns of movement.
Um,
No, that was supposed to be 5D or 5D6. I'm smart. Don't worry. Okay, yeah, he's doing pretty okay
all
in
right.
keeping up. It's not like he's not a savant behind the controls, but he's definitely not like if you had seen this kid before this and he had never said anything, you'd think that he at least had a couple ops out in the field, or at least had plenty of real life piloting experience.
Okay. Okay.
He's definitely picking up quickly.
All right. Looking good, cadet. So
Thank you, sir.
we're gonna walk over to an area so we're out in the ocean, right?
Yeah. We're in an undisclosed location in the South Pacific because I don't feel like naming a location. And the SDF-1 is currently in the ship format, which means that's basically this giant long brick sitting in the ocean.
Okay. Aircraft carrier-ish looking.
It has two aircraft carriers attached to it, but
Gotcha.
yeah, no, it kind of looks like one. Let me
right.
see if I can pull up a picture of it. SDF-1. Actually, wait, I think I have one on my Roll20 here. Once I find it again. Where is it? Where is it?
Don't make me go to commercial.
Nope, I got it right here.
Oh.
This is basically what it looks like. If you see on the Roll20.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so you guys would have come out of the southern one and kind of started walking around.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And they've got some hatchways going across. That way you guys can walk across the rest of the ship without falling into the water or having to do any precarious jumping.
Okay.
Unlike in space, jumping in a giant robot's slightly harder.
Okay. Do they have so out in the ocean, can we see like a mountain range or anything out there? Are we so far out where there's just nothing?
You see a couple of islands out in the distance. Don't really know if they're like inhabited or anything, but okay. They're out there, and there are a couple of small little sandbars with a little bit of trees, maybe a hill if there's big enough.
Okay. All right. Probably gonna get in trouble for this. Cadet, Right
yes,
here.
sir.
You see those rocks out in the distance?
And he kind of turns his mech and kind of looks out there. Yes, sir.
Target them and give me a range.
All right, give me 1 second, and he kind of folds the arms down so that way all the sensors and stuff are locking on. And he looks. It takes him a couple of seconds, and he goes about 6 kilometers.
Good. Now, I want you to keep them in your crosshairs and start walking backwards.
All right, sir. He does that, and he's starting to move backwards, but the way that the mech's moving, how it's perfectly keeping on, you can definitely tell he's using like the lock-on function, and has his camera and stuff gimbaled to that location.
Good.
He's using his equipment.
Good.
He's working smarter, not harder.
Good man. All right. Good. Walk forward and move to the right.
All right, and he does that, and he starts moving forward and to the right, and at one point he kind of you kind of see the mech kind of adjust a little bit, kind of twist as one of the camera flaps kind of on the bottom half of the turret or top open up, so that way he can look down to see what's down there, so he doesn't actually accidentally walk off the ship. But he seems to be doing pretty okay. It does seem like he's going a little slower forward than he was going backwards, though.
Okay. Okay.
Especially after the turn.
Good. All right, Cadet. How's that feel?
It's definitely a little nerve-wracking, especially when you said to turn, because you had to split the main screen between actually firing and the lower cameras.
Good. I want you to practice that for the next 30 minutes.
Yes, sir. And he starts moving around, keeping locked on the rock, walking back and forth, kind of making just random turns as he's going, but he's definitely paying attention to where he's going.
Good. All right.
He definitely seems to be a little slower on the uptake of this, mostly for the fact of we're on a big boat, and if he falls in the water, that's going to be a deep ride down.
Are there any, I suppose there's nothing on the deck that's not used, like empty crates or anything?
No, I could say that there's a couple of empty crates, a couple of empty crates from, resupply operations that have been left over, just in case the SDF-1 needs extra storage boxes or something. Stuff has been loaded out of them. One of them was like a new Destroid in a box.
New Destroid. So we have a Destroid box?
Yeah, it's basically a Destroid-sized box that had like a whole bunch of parts in it that have been pulled out and assembled on the deck.
Bunch of giant twisty ties all over the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, let's see here. Let's have, let's see, in our Spartans, Janko. So is the whole crew out on the deck? Or do we take like half of them?
Yeah, with how many groups there are on the SDF-1, whole groups go out at one time, and you guys are able to more or less get the whole squad out and whole squad in. You guys all share in on time and off time, just because of how many Destroids and Destroid teams there are.
Okay.
Though you guys are kind of spread across the hull too, with like one of the other teams. I think it's vanilla teams out today.
Okay. All right. I guess I didn't say if I'm in my Tomahawk or my Spartan.
Well, you can choose either or.
So in the Spartan, so I'll go over and pick some unused crates. I'll walk it back over to the cadet. And I'll say, all right, see this crate?
And he finally snaps his camera off the rocket and kind of jerks over and looks at you and it's like, yes, sir?
I'm going to throw it in the air and I want you to shoot it. You ready for that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Alright, I'm gonna have you just make a test with 2 of your skills, and that'll set basically the difficulty of the shot.
Okay. So pick 2 skills for it.
Yep.
Okay.
And with that, you don't have to worry about going with your burnout because unless you put 2 skills that are 4. So burnout is more or less if you
Okay.
if you go over your burnout with how many dice you have from your skills, you will suffer fatigue.
Okay. So I could use like precise targeting to get a good throw.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be how well I throw it is the skill test.
Yeah, more or less. It's just to kind of set a difficulty for him.
Oh, for him to hit it. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Let's use precise targeting. I'll try to give it some difficulty, but not a lot.
All right.
So that was a value of 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just roll 5d6 greater than 5. Is that cool?
Yep, you roll the number of dice, or the value of the dice, plus, or rather, value of the dice plus another skill if you want it. And then against the d6s with a target of 5.
I think this is it.
Yep. Alright. Actually, I'll give you edge so you'd actually succeed on 4s there because you're a squadron leader and definitely working with your squadron on this one.
Shoot.
Okay.
So we'll say that yeah, so there will be 2 successes for him to hit it. Oof.
Oof.
So he starts so he's watching you kind of but he's put his arms up so because he doesn't want to shoot you by accident.
Okay.
And like he has them aimed a little bit upwards, not straight up. And he kind of watches you, and as you throw it, he follows it with the torso and then fires, but forgot that he had the arms up at an angle, so he kind of just angled them even further up, and just his couple of shots sail out into the middle of who knows where.
Gotcha.
Nowhere near the box, unfortunately.
Well, there goes that box. Did it go in the ocean?
No, I'll say that it landed on the deck with a couple of clatters.
Okay. Yeah, as long as I'm not throwing it at anyone else, I'm like throwing it up towards the sea.
Yep. And of course, there is shortly afterwards. There's a call over the. You kind of, since you have open comms with him, you can see him, and he kind of looks over at another panel and goes, "What? Me? My squadron leader was having me do some target shooting, ma'am." No, ma'am, I didn't. No, ma'am. And he's kind of getting a little more overrun with whoever's there. You up in the bridge, by the way, you all hear several shots ring out from one of the destroids outside.
I knew it. It's action.
To which Lisa Hayes goes, "Wait, why are they shooting?" And she calls up one of the destroids, and you can see that she is doing the same thing she normally does. This not yelling, but authoritative mom tone that makes you want to just crawl out of your skin and hide.
Maybe.
And you just hear her, "Cadet, do you know, what are you shooting at? What do you mean that your commanding officer told you to start shooting at the box he threw? I don't care. Why didn't you call it up to the bridge beforehand? Cadet, I will not take excuses for this." And we switch back over to the other group with John. And John, your second screen lights up with the watch officer Lisa Hayes on, with her brunette hair and looking with her mildly annoyed smolder. that she gives just about everyone who doesn't listen to her or,
So is
causes
she?
problems.
Do they call her like watch officer or Miss
She's just the first officer. Her rank is commander.
Commander Hayes? Okay.
Yeah.
Commander, what can I do you for?
Mind telling me what you're doing, having your cadets shoot at random boxes you throw in the air?
Oh, just a simple weapons check. Turns out he's never fired a gun before. I'd hate for the enemy to show up and me not know whether or not he can even pull the trigger.
Well, next time, if you're going to do it, at least let us throw the target buoys into the water. Or at least, if you're going to do this, warn the deck officer before you start firing. You could have caused a serious problem, as we already had to wave it, as one of the tunnies waved off thinking we were under attack.
That's a good point, Commander. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I'm going to make sure that we do that next time.
I expect so. I expect so, Sergeant. And she angrily hangs up.
Okay.
And it's just, and it was just kind of looking at you through the communications. Goes, she's scary.
Yep. How'd that feel?
Getting yelled at, not fun.
Yeah? Would you rather get shot at or yelled at by the commander?
I'd rather probably explode in a fiery ball of death.
Good. You're getting the hang of this. All right, let's go shoot some legitimate target practice.
Because, yes, sir, just warn the commander before we do it again. I don't want to get yelled at again.
Ah, that was nothing. You should have seen it the first time we pulled this off.
And he goes, I imagine that's why she was. She already seemed furious enough. I don't want to know what that was like.
Yeah. All right, I'll call it up that we're going to shoot some target buoys.
All right. And I'll say that you were able to spend a good while, practice firing, and working with him, and it goes a lot better than the first shot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with actual targets now rather than a random box that you're going to throw up in the air. But it's
more predictable.
It's a little more predictable, but at the same time, it's something he's used to shooting at, and it's not right next to his commanding officer.
Gotcha.
But we're actually going to go back to the captain for a minute, or rather the bridge crew, as you hear the captain's, as Lisa Hayes turns around and goes, it would seem the captain's plane is on approach. You did get the crumbs out of his seat, yes?
You just see Archie's tush up in the air as he's like down, like getting all the crumbs out, which I don't know if he would have eaten much, but it doesn't matter. He's just polishing it to a fine, clean,
Mm-hmm.
He's just humming. He's like, that's what Lisa turns around to.
She just kind of looks at you and goes, I have never seen this man do that much work.
She is so impressed. Lisa,
I mean, when the bar is so low.
It's just easier to hop over it, baby. I just see the asterisk. Lisa Page will remember this. It's like a telltale game. Yes.
Lisa Page will remember you. Now she will expect this much work from you.
I know.
You fool, you've played yourself.
I know. What's new? But anyways, he's done that. He hopefully has retrieved the wine sack that the captain wanted, and he has that kind of in his pocket. So if he said Lisa probably confiscated the last one, he's like, I'm make sure if you don't take this from the captain, he needs it. And then otherwise that's what he's doing.
Yeah. And the captain, rather not the captain, brain, Alex, you can see that this whole scene go out, and you can see Lisa Hayes walk over to your closet and open the door to it. The captain will be landing soon. I do suggest you prepare whatever story you want to tell the captain about why you left beforehand.
I look at her as if she was saying something silly.
She just gives you this look back of mild annoyance that and just sighs. Archibald told me that you left. Or rather, were missing.
I knew I couldn't trust him to cover me.
You couldn't trust him to cover himself.
You're right, I should have known better.
Anyway, the captain, you should prepare your story, as the captain will probably want to know.
Let me just, get some more caffeine in my system first, okay?
And she closes the door politely, at least, and lets you get back to your caffeine withdrawal.
Yeah. He just, like, downs a Robo-Cola brand Red Bull.
Now with 500% more caffeine and addictiveness.
If your heart doesn't
Robo-Cola
stop,
energy.
we'll pay. If your heart doesn't stop, you'll get your money back. The Robo-Cola Red Bull line was extremely unprofitable. They canceled it after a few years.
Way to put a commercial in the show.
Not because people's hearts weren't stopping, but because the lawsuits were causing a lot of money when people's hearts did stop.
That was aggressive anti-marketing by a concerned parent, but the problem was the heart rate wasn't stopping. They were speeding up so fast the traditional machines just couldn't measure the speed of the heart rate. It did wear out one or two hearts of an older civilian, but young men enjoyed the benefits. It was total hack job that they did to get rid of Robo-Cola energy.
As Frost Jaeger says, Robo-Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But we cut over to the captain. As the captain, you finally feel the touchdown of the wheels of the Star Goose underneath your feet and chair, as you feel the slight rocking of a ship at sea, hopefully yours.
For now.
Either that or Alaska base either that or they might have flown around in circles and just like landed at Alaska base.
Sit down on a fishing trawler out in the middle of the Atlantic.
Yeah. They just put the Alaska base runway on stilts so they can move it up and down.
Yeah.
You get out and you just fall 50 feet to your death.
Yeah.
I assume I clipped through the bridge.
Yeah.
They didn't render this section of the game.
Oh no!
He's
On the
no
wrong
clipping,
deck.
he's cheating.
It's called speedrun strats.
See, done. Yep.
Any percent.
I jump. I just keep hopping.
Mm-hmm.
Do, 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 do.
But
Anyway,
the
yeah.
door opens and you are officially let off and back onto your ship, to which there is very little fanfare.
I shouldn't be. They're supposed to be busy.
Indeed, most of them are busy. You can see some of the destroyers doing target practice over the starboard side. One of them better than the other.
He just nods his head as he walks. He's headed to the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get
the first home out of the two homes on ship.
You get a couple of salutes. You get your salutes as you get back to the ship. Some of the people, you also do see several people, suntanning themselves on top of their destroids, as one would.
They're inside an atmosphere. It's safe.
Mm-hmm.
Enough.
Though you weren't the only one to get off of the boat, get off the Star Cruise. There were actually about 3 other people, one of which who looks like a military JAG officer almost. Just the way he carries himself in the briefcase, it's a weird mix of military and I'm gonna sue the crap out of you.
Awesome.
And he's moving on to the ship somewhere else for right now, it seems. And yeah, you move back up to the bridge, and you get back up there, and Archibald, what's happening up there? Have you finished grooming the chair?
Oh, it's polished enough to see my beautiful face in it. Captain's hat is like all askew, and he's forgot he's wearing it. The wine sock is in his pocket. Everything is clean. He's just like sweeping up whatever little crumbs were that are on the floor. He's now just has a little tiny broom and a dustpan, like just tiny. He's just, yep, perfect, and he's not paying attention to anything going around for now because he's been focused. because he's the man and he works today.
This is what you walk into, Captain.
Literally doing what the captain asked, I think.
He'll like walk right up behind him and just nudge his foot. You're in the way. You're in the way.
I'm like, stop it! I'm cleaning the chair for the captain.
That's the floor. You're in the way.
That
We have a bot for that.
His eyes go wide. He's like, wait a minute. And he just like stands up. He's like, sir, yes, sir, yes. Totally not
You're
wearing a hat.
relieved, Lieutenant. He crosses his arms. So, how far along in the nothing are you?
Wait, say it again. How far along in the what?
The nothing are you?
I guess I don't. Lucas does not understand this.
I told you to do nothing, Lieutenant.
Oh, how far? Okay, yeah. He's like, I have done a lot of nothing, sir, except for the last bit of actually getting some work done, like you commanded, sir.
Well, at least my chair doesn't have a rip in it.
It's polished.
Get down to your squadrons and make sure all the other squadrons know to start buckling things down. Transformation will be activating as soon as we're able.
Yes, sir. He's like, he feels the hat on his head. He's like, takes it off, and he's just like, kind of like tucks it under your arm, maybe, and it's like brushing your shoulders, and it's like, yep, definitely. Oh, the wine
Not
sock.
in trouble. You're losing your ability to get out of being in trouble, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir. He's like, and he turns. He's like, wait, and then he pulls out the wine sock. He's like, I believe this is my safety card. Just kind of puts it into your hand.
He leans like it's like an animal observing a prey beast. He's like,
Oh, he said to secure it for him, right? Like he's just like,
he leans back.
Yeah, you can see
Five.
the haze from her consoles, like, kind of turns her head just enough so that you can see the side of her eye looking at it. And she just kind of
He leans over, puts one finger up towards her, like just what's.
Yeah, no. She just kind of looks at it and goes, and kind of looks back forward because she has other things to do.
Yep. And he just hooks his finger over his other shoulder. As soon as he does the one, he's like, "Go."
About face, salute about face. And it's like, first officer, and then gone. Got to give her a little shout before
he sets the bottle in his chair, puts the hat on top of it.
This is
And
the
new
new
one,
first
though.
mate.
Yeah, he points his hand at Lisa, just goes, mm-mm, mm-mm. And then he does like that. He literally does that, and then walks over to Alex's store, opens it up, and just walks in the room.
Alex looks like shit. He's been up for like 18 hours and has been working the entire time. His hair is kind of a mess. Let's see. I think he's like still facing his desk, but is in the process of getting up, and you can see some major bags under his eyes right now.
Slides the door closed behind him. He looks around if he can find a seat. If not, he'll knock something over.
There is one. You'd have to like knock off a pile of data pads.
He does. He just casually he takes his hat and just whacks him into the floor and puts his hat back on and sits down. Mr. Matz,
Captain,
you sly dog. You should have told me you needed the captain to officiate a wedding.
we're not quite at that point yet, sir.
Young people. Young man. Eloping with someone to their homeland and disappearing for a weekend and coming back looking like you've slept for. He looks at his hand, looks at a wrist that doesn't have a watch on it. Couple days. That's typically what you do before you go off to war to die. So you have to get hitched so you don't get shotgunned in the back of the head by a dad. So I'll take care of the paperwork. I'm assuming since she's Chinese, you'll change your last name on the paperwork. I'll take care of all that. And let's see what else. He's literally tapping his hands on the desk. He's like, what else? Yes. One other thing. There are spies on our ship.
Sir?
No, spies.
I lean in like, from who?
Well, you I don't know where you're from because your history is blank. And then there's other spies that are actually dangerous towards the ship. I don't truthfully care what you're spying for, or your girlfriend, soon to be legally wife, because that's funny to me and I want to make that happen because I'm a captain and I can do that. What I don't want to hear again is the words, I told you so, or how dare you, from someone who thinks they're my superior officer. They're higher ranking, but that doesn't make them superior. Again, I don't care what you're spying for. You did what I asked, and you got yourself locked into a room because you couldn't keep going because of some perceived, or I'm assuming delusional fan fiction you created in your head that you couldn't handle killing people. Whatever. You are here now. We're about to go up and be kicked out of Earth as if we're the alien menace. You're going with me, and your life is going to be on the line because you're on the bridge. Hence why your booth is here. So if the bridge gets blown up, you die along with us. So you and your friends' best interest is to keep this ship floating until you can get back and restart your problems with whatever Earth government nonsense you're with. That's the end of my story with you. That's the end of my rant. I'm not really mad. I really don't care what you were doing because everyone has spies. Earth government, Chinese. I mean, they're not even really a country anymore and they still have Chinese spies. It's really funny. They don't do anything, but they call themselves spies. New Texas. New Texas has spies that wear cowboy hats. Everyone knows who they are, but they still call themselves spies. They're great at their job because everybody knows what they are and they don't believe they're competent, and yet they get stuff done. Long story short, yes, let's wrap this up. Your job is to use this comm equipment against the enemy in front of us. Keep doing that. And I will pretend that you just had a wild weekend with a cute girl that you now happen to be about however long it takes me to get to a data pad married to. I'm so happy I've got to perform a wedding, especially a shotgun one.
He's sweating. He's sweating absolute bullets.
He takes his hat off. He's like, is it really a shotgun wedding anymore? I mean, we use laser rifles. You know what? We're going to call it a chopsticks wedding because she's Chinese. Oh, that was not funny. That was probably racist. You know what? Let's not do that. We're just going to call it Captain's prerogative.
Yep. No one heard that last bit, Captain.
I'm sure they did because someone always hears everything on a ship because of spies. Anyway, by the way, there are at least 2 other people from Earth government that followed me on the ship and vanished into the mist that is the ship. So they might be hunting you. So keep it on the down low. He does the finger guns and he stands up and is like, anyway, like I said, congratulations on your upcoming legal wedding that I'm going to sign probably within the next hour. And I hope you inform your blushing bride. He just walks out the door and he stops. He closes the door on him and pulls it back and things back. And he's like, also, thanks for signing all my paperwork I've been saving since we left. Shunk. He closed the door himself.
You saved this all? Just like eyes wide and like, I've been played. Like that kind of expression.
What you have is only a fourth of it.
Yeah, he's going to perhaps see about leaving the bridge and going to inform the bride-to-be about the predicament.
The joyous occasion, you mean?
All right. And
I've been planning this for like 2 months. Trying to find a reason to do it. Now I found one.
Oh boy. Yeah, you had this all figured out.
So
Yep, he goes to his chair and sits down.
So, Captain, do you let him escape his fate currently and get to the bride-to-be?
No, not at first. He'll hey, what, Alex, you got to let the captain do his thing. And he gets a piece of paper and writes like really fancy letter saying soon to the soon to be Mrs. Matz or from or for the Mr. Minmay. or something. I don't know her formal names.
I think it'd be Mr. Lin.
Mr. Lin,
Yeah.
or to future Mrs.
Oh.
Max or Mrs. Lin.
Oh my god.
I'm very happy to hear that you are both taking this opportunity while still on Earth to have this official legally binding contract completed by your captain, and you will be given plenty of time to enjoy the upcoming celebration as we all die in a fiery fireball, most likely above Earth. Since, jokingly, the captain, hand a piece of paper. There you go. And tell her family I'm happy for them.
Like, big panicked eyes.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's my first time officially having anyone married. You know what? Off you go. You should go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Backs away into the elevator.
And let me know if she wants to do an official wedding. We can do pictures. Culture.
He, like, as soon as the doors close, he is just like holding his head like, oh god, they know. He knows.
It's the whole panic. It's the whole panic meme. Just panic.
He's got the Macaulay Culkin as he runs down the hall.
So the elevator's playing like one of your other tunes too. That's been turned to elevator music. It's kind of like.
Oh god.
There are people. They are the people.
Oh my god.
Soylent Green is made of people.
And eventually the elevator gets down, and you grab one of the cars after signing it out. Do you sign it out with your real name, or do you sign it out with like a false name? Because you feel like you're being. You found out, man. The captain's gonna punish you with a wedding.
Yeah, I use a fake name, not to fool the captain, but just like throw off anybody else.
Okay. Yeah, you signed off with a fake name, Larry Butts.
Yep. Really unfortunate name. He's been made fun of. It's really been the joke of the fighter squadrons.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever sees him around, mostly because apparently everybody says he's hiding in his room all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than Slappy Bendover. Slappy Bendover's been having a real rough time on this ship, man. 3 destroids already, like. But you sign out the Jeep, no problems, and you drive off and head over to the restaurant where you know she works.
Yeah.
And you get there, and Lynn Kyle's there, and there's some soldiers, and Lynn Kyle's kind of aggressively glaring at them, kind of like that smoldering, "God, I hate soldiers."
I'm gonna sort of like do a hand signal for we have to talk, like, and basically, just sort of head over to a different part of the restaurant.
All right. You go over to the spies table. It's not actually called the spies table. It's just the one that's in like the darkest corner, just because the light went out. Not
Yeah,
part of the
it hasn't been fixed. There's no spare bulbs yet.
Yeah.
They all got used replacing all the many, many, many different colored lights on the bridge.
Mm-hmm. But he goes over there, and Min May goes over to take your order, and Darbo and Lynn Kyle kind of looks over you and like, "What's wrong? You look panicked."
The captain knows. He said I don't know how, but he's been tipped off. He seems strangely nonchalant about it, but if he knows, someone else certainly does as well. And also, this may be his version of some sick joke, but apparently he's going to be officiating a wedding between Minmay and I.
What?
And
What?
that's going to draw a lot of unwanted attention.
They both kind of just look at you like, and Minmay kind of reaches over and like feels your forehead. Are you okay?
No, I'm perfectly, like, it doesn't help because he's got really bloodshot eyes and big bags. I'm perfect. Look,
Over the entire ship.
oh
Just then,
no.
boom, boom, boom. This is your captain speaking. Just letting you all know that I have broken out the paperwork for weddings, so anyone else besides Our dear Alex Matz and his bride to be wish to get married soon before we take off from the planet. While I'm still legally allowed to do so without a shotgun or laser pistol, as the times have changed, go ahead and forward it to your section commanders or the mayor. Thank you.
They
He
kind of
holds
just
his
look
like,
up.
oh god.
They kind of like look up, like, did that happen? They look at each other and then they look at you and go, did that just happen?
I just like look at them and just go like, can you get me some beer, please?
Yeah,
I need something to drink.
I, 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 I think we all do. And Min May goes over and grabs 3 beers and sits down with you, and I feel like the rest of the meeting is almost silence of just.
Yeah, it's dead silent. We're all just processing it.
Mm-hmm. And towards the end of the beers, Min May just goes, "So, do I take your last name or do you take mine?"
I don't know.
And I would say that's where this ends, except we pan it back to the bridge. And Captain, as you were still on Earth and preparing to take off, probably the next day or so, you get a radar warning.
From up.
And Lisa Hayes goes, "Captain, we have an enemy ship attempting to approach us from orbit. It looks like to be a single ship, though its markings are unlike the previous ones. This one's purple in color."
Weren't the other ones all look like giant cucumbers?
Yes, this one looks like an eggplant.
I want to feel like that's a good thing, but none of them have been very good. So let's general quarters.
And throughout the ship now, alarm Saxons blaring. Even you guys on the deck are already receiving all con alerts of enemies moving into the area. And Uso looks over to you, John. He's like, "Wait, we're already going to battle?"
Sucker.
And Uso does look a little panicked, but I feel like that's where we leave it off. Is the enemies are coming, and no matter what your vacation, how long your vacation may be, someone will always try to kill you at the end of it. I've been Harukajunko, your Robotech master. You can find me over at twitch.tv/Harukajunko, and I'm going to pass it over to the captain.
I don't believe you, Mike. I don't believe you.
Glorious. I am Captain Colors for this boat. Also, Soundwavesghost. Take the hat off now for the last time tonight. I play here on Tuesdays, pretty much rotating both Tuesdays right now. But on one of those 2 Tuesdays, I run. No, is it Tuesday or Thursday I run?
Tuesday. Next.
I run Alien RPG, released by Free League Publishing. More importantly, we run the latest scenario created by them, basically like the old D&D modules, of Destroyer of Worlds, marine-based campaign on a oil moon, a moon that was full of oil, or however you want to say that phrase and sentence in a
That's
English
no oil
structure.
moon.
And my players attempt to not die before dying. I don't really. There's only 1 or 2 ways out of that game, and most of them involve some form of dying. And on this Thursday, I'll be playing Band of Blades with Lucas, which is going to be a lot of fun because it's been a while, and we're going to make so many mistakes, and that's going to be fun. Other than that, I'm on Luke's Discord. If you ever need to talk about Free League Publishing stuff, especially the Alien RPG, I've DM'd all the scenarios that are available right now that are official ones, and I'm also looking at some unofficial ones, whether or not people want to keep going. And there is a campaign mode for it, which is fun, but I would arguably say it takes more work than most D&D free worlds, but that's mostly for the background stuff because Alien RPG has an overall world, but it encourages you to create your own universe for most of your stuff to take in, because there's so many, not universes, galaxies that it can take place in out there. You can make your own galaxy for your entire adventure. Because I mean, the system is meant to span gigantic spaces, but reality is people are tiny and all of that. So it's going to be very small compared to the world, the possible worlds. And I think that's about all I got. As usual, thanks for letting me play, guys, and I'll pass it on to the newlywed Elias Raphael.
Yeah.
AKA Alice Matz.
Yeah. I am the newlywed Alex Matz, or is it Alex Lynn now? We can't be sure. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. That was something. I'm still processing that. For now, I'm going to pass it downward to Sergeant John Kerensky.
Thank you. I'm Nate. I'm playing John. I actually also run a Starfinder campaign, but I don't stream it, so you can't watch it. If you are watching it, that's really creepy. Please stop. And I will pass it over to Luke.
That was the best shout out I've ever heard. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you to all the audience that was here tonight. Thank you for Frost, our biggest fan. He says, this legit tops whatever happened in the original series, so I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you for the Robomaster Harukajunko for running, and thanks for the players for playing. Yes, so we got all of our games in full swing. This Thursday starts up again. I think it's session number 6. We're not very far in, but of our Band of Blades, which is Evil Hat Productions. It's a Forged in the Dark game, much like Blades in the Dark. It's a great game, and we had a little bit of cast change there too. We had a really good story going. Guerrilla warfare against an army of undead with a military dark fantasy, low magic. Is to see what the Legion can do. So it's real brutal, real gritty, and I plan to bring the hurt. It's real nice that both Dan and Mike and I are in 3 of these games where we're all GM, so we can all just basically spin the table on each other. I'm like, oh, Mike, you wanted to do this to me in Robotech, did you? Well, I see.
I have yet to have to do that to you guys. You have done more damage to yourself than I ever could.
Just trying to
The
play.
only one who's gonna kill me is me.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, make me bleed my own blood.
But join Soundwaves, Harukajunko, and myself, and a couple other guys as we come back on Thursday for that. And then something new is happening. Actually, my newest cast member from Band of Blades, his name is Dom. He is going to be starting his own RPG up this Sunday. I believe it's 2 p.m. Central, so it should be 3 p.m. Eastern. Just check out the Discord for that. I'll have the schedule up. It's a game called Chasing Adventure. It's kind of a newer hack of both the Powered by the Apocalypse games and the Forged in the Dark, Blades in the Dark kind of game in a fantasy setting like Dungeons and Dragons. So like Dungeon World mixed with Blades in the Dark, they try to take out all the extra stuff and make it so it's quick, fast-paced narrative style as far as I've gotten from it. So I've met him and his players. They seem like really good guys. I've given him the keys to my Twitch so he can run it right on this channel, so you can come right back here and watch it. So that's going to be this Sunday will be their first session. Be sure to check that out if you can. And thank you for all of you that have come around. Thank you for all your subscriptions, your follows, any donations you make. It all goes back to the channel, and I appreciate it very much. So that's Chasing Adventure. And I think that's about everything. Thank you once again to my players for being here and Mike for running. My name is Lucas of Lucasgvariety, and we're going to be out. We'll be back in 2 days to do that Band of Blades. So you definitely don't want to miss that because it's going to get real because we got a mission phase coming up, and I have some juiciness planned for these guys. So I already know what they're going to do. Maybe. So it's always a surprise. Anyways, we'll see you guys later. Have a good night. God bless. Good gaming. Peace. We're out. We'll see you next time.